Imagine it's your first job straight out of college or a boot camp, and you're sitting around the table having lunch with all of the new hires. Y'all are laughing and joking, and then somehow the conversation of starting salaries comes up. As you look around the table, you notice a few things. First, you're the only woman, and you're the only person of color. Now, when the discussion gets to you about your starting salary, you realize that you're actually making $20,000 less than everyone else around that table. And you think to yourself, well, maybe you have a lower GPA, so you find out. No, you don't. Well, maybe you don't have the same work experience. Well, yes, you do. So what is it about you that makes this company think they can pay you $20,000 less to do the exact same job? Well, this story is my story. And unfortunately, it's the story of a lot of women in tech. And it planted the seed for what I'm going to talk to you about today. Understanding and obtaining your technical worth. Hi, I'm Kesha Williams. I've been in tech for 26 years, and I cannot believe where the time has gone because it's really been 26 years. I built the bulk of my career in the Java software engineering space. I've held several titles, so web developer, software engineer, technical lead, software engineering manager. And about 7 years ago, I was introduced to the cloud and Amazon Web Services. And about 3 years ago, I was introduced to machine learning. I'm currently recognized as an AWS machine learning hero and an Alexa champion. I currently serve as a principal training architect for a company called A Cloud Guru. If you didn't know, tech has higher levels of pay discrimination than other professions. And in a new tech role, 63% of women say they want equal pay and benefits. Now, I don't understand why this number is not 100%, but that's a topic for another day. In my 26-year career, I have experienced firsthand the pay gaps that exist in tech. In many environments, I've been the only one, the only Black person, or the only woman. And in those environments that lack diversity, I've seen my colleagues, even colleagues at lower levels, take multiple lavish vacations, chilling on this beach right here, where I, someone who is debt-free, mind you, could barely afford to take one. It's not right. The pay discrimination that exists in tech is not right. So I wanted to do something to battle the pay gap and also empower women in tech. And that's where my new app, Salary Overflow, comes into play. Salary Overflow seeks to close the gender pay gap in tech by bringing transparency to tech salaries. Now, I have to be honest, there's also another reason why I created Salary Overflow. Now, don't get me wrong. The very first reason to fight pay discrimination is very important. But if you know me, you know I'm a strong believer in learning new things and continuous improvement. So I also created Salary Overflow so that I could geek out over new tech. With Salary Overflow, this was my first time using React. I'm typically an Angular person. It was my first time using GraphQL. I'm typically a REST person. And with AWS, I was able to use some of the services that I had never used before, like Cognito and Pinpoint and AppSync and Aurora. So overall, Salary Overflow was a win-win situation. Being in IT, it's important to know what your technical worth is so that you're not cheated. Well, how can you learn what you're worth? Well, I've given you this great tool now, Salary Overflow. You can see what others like you earn. You can even see what others who are not like you earn. Secondly, research salary trends. Just familiarize yourself with what the industry pays people who are like you. And another way you can do that is by keeping an eye on job postings. Even if you are not actively seeking a new job, it's a great way to stay in the know, because whenever there's a job posting, most of them come with the salary range, so you can see what that role pays in the industry at that point in time. Now, once you know what you're worth, take action with what you know. Don't just sit on it. Do something about it. If you have a job offer in hand, use a tool like Salary Overflow to help you determine if that job offer is fair. And if it's not fair, negotiate. And that's a great segue into my next statement. Always, 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 did I say always enough? Always negotiate a salary offer. They are expecting that piece to be a negotiation. It just comes with the territory. And don't feel bad for not accepting the very first offer they give you. What if you're already in a role? Well, don't be afraid to talk to your boss about the salary range for that role. I've been a software engineering manager, and I know that each role has a salary range. So don't be afraid to ask where you fall in that range. It's a great starting point in determining whether or not you're being compensated fairly. Well, what if you feel like you're being compensated fairly, but you'd like to progress faster in your career? Well, the first thing you need to do is just find out how you can contribute more, how you can take on more responsibilities. And that typically justifies a salary increase that you are now going to use Salary Overflow to help you negotiate that increase. Well, what if you say, yeah, Kesha, all of that sounds great, but I don't have the confidence to have those discussions? Well, you have to build that confidence. The way I build my confidence is by always learning something new, staying relevant, adding new skills to my tool belt, and making myself more valuable in the industry. So my advice to you is work on building your online portfolio and just be able to show what you've done. So maybe it's a side project, maybe it's a blog post, maybe it's a YouTube video, maybe you spoke at a meetup. Just make sure you have this online portfolio that showcases who you are. And all of that helps build your confidence to ask for what you're worth. Well, what's next? First, let's just normalize talking about our salaries so that we can further equality in tech. And next, you can start by going to Salary Overflow and enter your salary information. And it could actually help someone else that's trying to negotiate a job offer or negotiate a pay increase. And you'll even find useful and actionable information in Salary Overflow to help you. And if you'd like to see a demo of Salary Overflow and take a deeper dive on the AWS cloud architecture, then join me in my technical deep dive session, Furthering Equality in Tech Through Salary Transparency. And it actually starts in like 15 minutes. And you'll learn how I used AWS Amplify to build out Salary Overflow in just a few weeks. It really jump-started the process. I'll give you a demo, we'll deep dive on the architecture, and we'll discuss ways that you can use Salary Overflow. So I'll see you in 15 minutes. Thank you.